Here we are again, the next stage of the Robertson kilt, which is in for a rebuild. And I'm trying something new, starting with the orientation of the phone on vertical. So once again, motion sickness alert, close your eyes. Let's see how this turns out. Okay, when last we spoke with our hero, the splice canvas had been done, and now we're going to attach the end of the canvas to the cloth, but because the fold at the end isn't very deep, usually it's that deep, we're going to be sewing this from the outside. So step the first, let's get some thread. I'm going to go with black. Put that away. Now you can see very faintly with the chalk that I've chalked the outline of where I'm going to be sewing just from feel and by pushing pins through so I could see exactly where we were. But as you can see, well, actually, yeah, just dressing off on this line and just far enough in. And yeah, so yeah, we'll do that. I'm using a needle that's a little bit longer. It's, not going to stop and measure it. It's going to be a bit of a challenge because, again, waxing thread, eventually the eye of the needle will get choked with wax, and then you have to get in there with the point of another needle and sort of scrape it out. Okay. That knot isn't quite big enough. There we are, that'll do. Okay, so let's start. It's a little high, isn't it? A little bit lower. Now, ow. It's going to be very hard for you to see, but let me sew a line of stitches and then flip it over so you can see what it looks like from the inside. So where the needle and thread comes out of the cloth here on the good side, I'm moving over maybe a millimeter and then passing the needle back through the thread, or through the cloth, I should say. So if I take care so that it doesn't dimple, it doesn't pull the top of the cloth down, it's going to be pretty hard to see. It's a bit visible now because the wax is coming off the thread, but a pass of the iron will get rid of that. Okay, so I've gone across one. Now you can see it's a bit, okay, that stitch didn't pass all the way through the 1, 2, 3 layers of cloth, but no. I'm going to cheat just because I'm a lefty. What am I doing? I'm going back. The the other way. you can see with one stitch I'm going up at a 45-degree angle, and the next stitch I go down at 45. And then I do a small back stitch just to bring it down again. How's it look? Yeah, see, back and forth. We can get rid of those pins now. Okay. Just stick the pin through just to see where we are. Okay, good. Ouch. I got now. Yeah, we're getting there. Get rid of that pin. Yeah. Of course, the thread slipped out the eye of the needle. Okay. I'm quite pleased and surprised to see that it looks like I just about have enough thread. Now, there's a gap here and a gap there, but it really doesn't matter because the whole purpose here is to anchor the canvas to the tartan. There's going to be a top band here, of course, and this is all under tension, but it's holding the canvas in place so that when, so that it provides just that little bit of extra shape, a little bit stiffness at this top corner. So there we go. I'm just gonna, well, apparently I'm about to just about to sneeze. Oh, there we go. But I'm just gonna, you see that there's the rest of my thread. It's a little short for me to tie a knot on. A knot in, I should say. So I'm just going to take this spare bit of thread and watch. This will be the one that just completely resists any effort of mine to pass it through the, oh, I did it. Pass it through the eye of the needle. I thought I was going to have to resort to the old man zoom again, but there we are. Okay. So with this, I'm just going to bring that up and just knot, and it gives me enough extra that I can finish sewing it in place. Now, I could have re-sewed this so that it was all perfectly even on the inside, but it really doesn't matter because it's doing the job. And yeah, I mean, generally I'm quite adamant about things being good enough being not good enough, but this is good enough. It'll do the task. Now I'm going to have to baste this in place against the canvas so it stays in position until I can get the top band on. But there I am, Ian Glass, Diente me, Gray Hair John repaired or made me, August 2015. And me, March 2025. There we go. Okay. Let's just keep working. Let's put some basting down right there. I think I said elsewhere, it took a while for me to sort of get with the program as far as basting, because it's definitely time well spent. I'll just grab a piece of basting thread that's been used at least once before, because when I pull it out of the kilt after I finish pressing it, I just hang it back up to use it again. Okay, we're good to there, so let's one back stitch. Let's just make sure that the canvas is in fact where I want it to be. There it is right there. Today is, let's say the 20th. This has to be done within the next few days, but progress is going to pick up speed from here. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. Okay, good. Right. And from here, I'm just going to carry on as if I was making a new kilt. I'm going to, right, there's my edge. Have to take a look and see if I can find his measurements. That's it right there. Yeah, see? Remember I pressed the old creases out after, well, before I pressed the old creases out, I made the measurements to show how far I had to widen the apron to, and I'm really pleased at how completely the old creases came out, because sometimes they really stay in place, but I can't even see where the old creases were. Maybe a little trace of it down there. Okay, so we're gonna place, we put that there, that'll be there. We're gonna just have room for the strap in there, not much space at all, really. Yeah. And look, we've got room for the for the lining to go in. But I'm going to check to make sure that he doesn't, I can't remember if he has a kilt pin or not. Because if he has a kilt pin, I don't see any evidence. Because generally, if you use a kilt pin even once, it leaves a hole, it leaves a mark that you can't disguise. So I don't see evidence of a kilt pin, but if I am going to point out to him that once he starts wearing his altered kilt, that if he decides to have a kilt pin, you tend to put them in a symmetric location, so on a line and generally centered on a cross kind of thing. There's so little cloth here now that if he wanted to put a kilt pin, the logical place would be along this white line just for symmetry. If he did that, I think what I would do would be caution him to come back to me. If he wants a kilt pin, come back to me so that I can sew a reinforcing piece on the backside here, probably a narrow strip of canvas with a piece of tartan cloth over top. Whether or not I can find a match for Robertson remains to be seen, but it'd be out of sight because it'd be on the backside of the front apron, because with that extra, we really need that extra reinforcement to bear the weight of a kilt pin. Because if it's just hanging, even with cloth as good as this, but with a single thickness of cloth, the weight of the kilt pin is going to hang on that cloth and accelerate the damage. So I'm going to make a note after I switch this vid off. I'm going to make a note to myself, just to remind myself of that, to have that conversation with him. Okay, I'm going to leave you now because this is straightforward. You've seen me do it before, and I always sew a little bit more quickly when I know people are watching me. So thank you for tuning in again. Carry on, and I'll talk to you the next time I believe I have something relevant to say. Right, motion sickness alert. If this phone only came with a remote.